I don't even know what it really is anymore.
Chana. I say Chana. It's Chana. I sometimes have to think before I say it, but I just call him Chris.
In the music
Just
industry,
Chris.
I just tell them, think of Luther, because that's,
Mm-hmm.
it's close.
Luther was one of my favorite people.
Yeah. And this
People
is-
try
this
to
is
make mine harder than it is.
Are we gonna say feel free to call? Are we talking about the referral source, or no?
Yeah, so I mean, what do you have the number to call in here? Because
Yeah.
we'll give them the number.
Yeah, I'll
to call
give the
in
numbers
here.
now.
Yeah. So,
To ask for any, but see, we don't have all those referrals with us, but we
What are you
can give
talking
them our main line. Like,
You can plug your website too. Make sure you do that and the phone number.
yeah, so senior source is is like the idea is we're here to help provide education, and then Discount Med Direct and Chelsea Place are sponsors.
Right.
So the
Well, and if somebody has a specific question, we can always get their phone number and call them back.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want to get people to call in.
I brought a pen.
You're good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything to write on, but no, I have paper in there. So it's something
We'll
we can
get
get.
even that show I had with you. Remember? I need to speak.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's no problem. Oh, look, see, there's the lines right there.
Oh yeah. Is that how they call in on those lines? Okay, but I mean, is the number right there
Yeah,
on the side?
Mhm.
Which one is it?
both.
There's
out of
4 of
town.
them, aren't there?
Yeah, but
Well,
one's
not the
fax.
fax line,
Oh.
yeah.
And
The
it's
studio
all
Oh,
free.
yeah,
it's
okay,
all
yes.
free.
Like if my
Yeah.
cousin
Yeah,
calls from
yeah.
California,
They-
he
they
is a
call toll
doctor.
For your cousin?
Ray's Complete Plumbing, your drain cleaning experts.
Do you want
Ray's
iHeartRadio?
Complete Plumbing, available 24 hours a day and voted best plumber for the past 14 years.
Why are you whispering?
Log on to
seen him
raysplumbing.com
since I
and
was-
we'll
So your
be
cousin?
right over.
Yeah.
This
Since you were
afternoon,
that big?
variable
Since
clouds,
you
a
were-
couple of heavy thunderstorms. They
How
could
old were you,
last
like
into
12?
the overnight hours. Those
I was
storms
12.
could cause some flooding.
You're
Look
shrinking
for
now.
highs this afternoon, 86 to 88. Lows tonight, 73 to 76. Thursday, variable cloudiness, shower and thunderstorm.
Oh, jeez,
The
this
high
thing
will be
is dangerous, that
78.
chair. You gotta be careful
Yeah,
with this
Heavy
thing.
thunderstorm in the
All right.
area. The high on Friday, 88. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Steve Williams.
This report is sponsored by the podcast Monster,
Back
the
to them,
Zodiac
because he's got
Killer.
us on
The
camera, right?
idea
I know, right?
of
Yeah,
calling up the police
Sit up
and
straight.
bragging about it, that's a whole nother level of terror.
She's back.
From the creators of
Is that your cup?
come season
Yeah.
2.
I love that
This is
color.
monster.
Well, I think it's
Your
nice.
nails done
Does it say
that
rave
color.
on the side?
Follow on the iHeartRadio app.
Or the
Jay
robe?
Gansey here. Let me tell you,
I guess, I don't know.
Dude, it-
I bought it at Ollie's.
Is that all these the?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a dollar store in there now. That's
That's cool.
at 8 o'clock. That's good.
Yeah,
Is it?
right in
The
there.
views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of the advertisers, staff, or management
Oh,
of
why not?
iHeartMedia.
Like, we don't want nothing to do with what they gotta say.
Good morning. It's 11:06 here at News Radio 1580 WCCF, and it's a beautiful day, and we are so proud to present a brand new program to you. It's called Senior Sauce. All the ingredients you need in selecting the right senior care. So we are here with 3 wonderful people. We have Chris Chana, Amy Conti, and Suzanne Vandras. So let's get to the program right now. And welcome to Senior Sauce.
What's going on, everybody?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. So I know, like, for us to put this show together, it was really important that we could help, families and seniors in the community. So that's why we're here and stuff, So
Yeah, this is our first show.
exactly.
So we're starting off to tell a lot about us and our stories and how we got to where we are. And then with the coming weeks, we'll have guests on the show
Yep.
to give lots of educational information.
And we're going to cover everything from legal affairs to financial planning to senior care options and CBD oil and all sorts of
Yes, how
interesting
beneficial.
stuff. And so I know this will be a great way for people in the community to be educated about the different services that are available to them. And that being said, I think it would be appropriate to kind of learn about everyone here today. For those that don't know us, I mean, I know everyone knows Amy, but
Oh,
for
stop.
those that don't know Suzanne and I,
Basically,
so-
it's Chris, because,
Yeah.
if they've been listening for a while, they've heard me on here on WCCF too. So they might know a little bit about me too. So We gotta learn about you, Chris.
Yeah, there's always something new. You can learn about him every day.
And let's just say we'd love for people to call in and let us know what they
Absolutely.
would like us to talk about, things that they want to learn about in the community. And if they have any questions for us while we're here, please call and let us know, because we're happy to answer the questions that you want to know.
And of course, our phone numbers here 941-206-1580 or toll free 888-441-1580.
Awesome. And Suzanne, I guess just even for our sake too, and stuff. Walk us through your story though. I'm curious to kind of walk through that journey and how you got to where you are today, because I know what you do is very unique, and as we've gotten to learn about it, what you can do for people and saving them money on different medications and things like that is so huge, especially right now.
Absolutely,
I know.
yeah.
I think they were just I think even Trump just said the other day that this is out of control. We have to find a way to get
It is.
price control.
It really is.
So it's, I mean, and I was just talking to someone the other day, and they said an EpiPen is $1,500.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
this is insane.
It's
It is.
Yeah,
So-
because EpiPens are life or death for people.
Right,
I mean,
right.
seriously, life or death for a lot of people, and they're crazy expensive.
And they've been around forever, so it blows my mind to think. I'm like, how is this thing that's been around this long? Like, how is it?
Well,
this
somebody
expensive
new
still?
bought the EpiPen about, it's probably close to 2 years ago now, and it went from being like $150 for 2 pens up to $600 overnight. And so we had, actually, I think my business partner was on the news at that point talking about the fact that we could get them for a lot less money. And
So you guys can
help
actually
people.
save people on
God.
EpiPens as
We
well.
can save people on EpiPens. We
Wow.
can get EpiPens, not a problem. Just have to have the prescription, just like
Yeah.
anything else.
So tell us a little bit about like Discount MedDirect and your story, and like how you started with them, and then what you guys actually do for people.
Sure. So I was doing a lot of networking in the Sarasota area and met the woman who is now my business partner. She, her mother actually, an aunt actually opened Discount MedDirect about almost 10 years ago. And they started it because her mother had a medication that was really expensive, and she found a business like ours and thought, wow, that seems like a really good thing to be into. So they opened the business and brought her daughter in, and she started doing the marketing and the networking, and she eventually bought them out, and so they could retire again.
Good for
As a
them.
lot of us here in Florida retire again, we hear that a lot. So she took over, and then she opened the second store. The first store was in Sarasota. The second one was in Ellenton. And then I had met her, and I became unemployed. I was working with another company, and we parted ways. So she came to me and said, hey, do you want to do some marketing for me just a couple days a week? So I started out very part-time for her. I mean, I was working like 10, 12 hours a week. And then after about a year, she called me and said, do you want to come work full-time in the Sarasota office? And I was kind of I had another part-time job that I wasn't really crazy about. So I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Never thinking this was going to be my next career. Totally just doing this as like trying to decide what I wanted to be when I grow up. And I think at that point she even had in her mind that she was going to open Port Charlotte, and because I lived down farther south, she was going to have me be the main person in Port Charlotte. But then we have another store that's similar to ours up in the Tampa area, and she's very close with the owner of that one, and he had started bringing in business partners. So when she decided to open Port Charlotte, she offered me the opportunity to be her partner. And it was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, the investment was very minimal, and I knew
Good for you.
what the business was like and how to do it, and I thought it was really a great business to be part of.
And you're actually helping people, with something that is like obviously a pain point. I mean.
Yeah, and that was, I think, kind of for me had been my struggle in all of my previous jobs is even though I worked for companies, like I worked for a restoration company that did fire, water, mold cleanup, but I didn't get to see the helping part.
Right.
We were helping people, but because I was on the sales side and the marketing side,
Right.
I didn't get to see that.
Right.
And so I always felt that kind of need in my career
Right.
was I wanted to be more helping. But
Right. It's to see what it's like when they actually get the home
relief.
restored, and they
Yeah.
come back in and they're like, oh, finally my home's back together.
Yeah,
and like,
I didn't get to see that part of it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I think that was always an element that was missing in my career. So, but I knew I couldn't be a nurse or a doctor. I don't have that I don't like blood, so I couldn't do that.
That's how I am too now. Like, so Chelsea like went to school to be a veterinarian, you know, and I remember when she was she sent me pictures one time. I'm like, no, don't ever send me that one time. And she thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I'm like, this is disgusting.
It's like for some, it's not.
So I couldn't do that part of it. So this is kind of bringing some of that in, and then now even adding in the CBD products, which we've done, that we can see relief almost instantly for people.
Yeah, so tell us about that. So like your primary business model. I mean, what's the ultimate, like if I'm an individual right now, and I'm getting my prescriptions from a CVS pharmacy or another like local pharmacy, what would be the reason why I would come to you?
Well, I always tell people if you're paying more than about $75 to $100 a month, if you're in that range where you're paying that much or more, then you should call us and see if we can save you money.
So that's even if they have insurance
Even
and they're
if they
still
have
paying
insurance.
that as a copay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Because, like, for instance, Eliquis, which is a big heart medication right now that a lot of people are taking, it's about $300 to $500 a month with insurance.
Wow.
That's what the people are paying for it.
So that's the copay.
That's the copay amount
That's
on
insane.
it.
It's
And
like,
so we
yeah.
sell it for $300 for 90 days.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it totally it
Big
can save
discount.
people anywhere from $600 to
So-
$1,000 a month.
Say that person on Eliquis, right? Like, like if they came to you, what would be the steps that they would go through with you to actually make that happen? Like, do they have to file insurance or like go
Nope.
file a claim to pay out of the pocket? How does that work?
Basically, we are a pay out of pocket company, so
Okay.
they just have to have a prescription from their doctor.
Right.
And we can help them get that if they need help with that. But most doctors will send it to us without any problem, or they can go and pick it up at their doctor and bring it to us. Once we have the prescription, we process the order, and it's shipped right directly to their house.
Wow.
So,
All right, let me ask you a question. So somebody has a prescription, they bring it to a local pharmacy and not thinking to ask how much their copay is going to be. And then when they call and say the prescription's ready and they say, oh, it's $300, $500, you can cancel that and then they could transfer it to you?
well, we can't transfer any prescriptions because
Okay.
we don't have a pharmacist on our staff. Our pharmacist that we use is mainly out of New Zealand. So we can't transfer prescriptions, but if they ran into that situation, they can certainly either give us a call and we can help them work with the doctor to get the prescription reissued.
Okay.
Or usually the pharmacy doesn't want to give it back to them. Occasionally you might be able to get the prescription back from the pharmacy, but we'll work with them to just go to the doctor and say, hey,
And they
this
can
was
do a
too
new one.
expensive. Can you just reissue this for us so we can get it at some place that's less expensive?
And the reason I ask is I've run into that problem with some expensive medication, and I just canceled it, and then sort out another form.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just so they know they have that option. It's not like, oh my goodness, especially if somebody's panicking, the prescription's
Right.
filled. You can cancel it.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Okay.
you don't have to take that prescription from the pharmacy.
Not to put you on the spot, but it's happened to me.
Nope.
So I.
It's-
Well, and I
You
think
know?
it's like having those examples like that. Like if I'm a individual right now that is like I can relate to that. I'm like I'm going through that same
Absolutely,
thing. Like
yeah.
I just I'm sure someone listening. Like I just went to the pharmacy the other day and they're like it's $250. I'm like, wait, what? Like did you run my insurance? You know?
Yeah. What do you mean,
Yeah.
$250?
Right.
Exactly.
So and
I
it's-
think probably everybody can relate to that. I mean, I did. I didn't have prescription coverage, and my eye doctor gave me an eye drop, and he said it's going to be kind of expensive. So in my head, I'm thinking it's going to be $100, right?
Right.
My mom went to pick it up for me. It was $300, and I'm like, she's
crazy.
like, I didn't get it. Did you want me to? I'm like, no,
Right,
not for $300 for eye drops. I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
It's so unbelievable because there's so many people who need these medications. Like you said, even the EpiPen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And what do you do?
And there's so many people. I mean, I know of probably 2 or 3 people that I know personally that say I need an EpiPen, but they don't have one because they can't afford to pay for it.
Right.
And I keep saying, just get me a prescription. You know?
Right.
Yeah, no, that's why it's wonderful for companies like yours, and it's just educating the community.
Yeah.
And if they don't need it for themselves, share it with somebody else.
And,
Yeah.
and so like in your case too, when you're saying like transfer, like you can't transfer it, but what you could help them with, I guess, is
Yeah.
actually talk to the doctor and have the doctor send it directly type of thing.
Yeah,
or-
yeah. The doctors can fax it to us.
Okay.
And we can send over a request to the doctor, and then we'll just make a note on there saying
Right.
the customer needs to get a new prescription because they found it at a less expensive place.
Gotcha. And so also too, because this always cracks me up. But so what is your number one medication that you guys sell?
Number 1 and number 2 every month are Viagra and Cialis.
Okay.
always cracks
Hey.
me up.
It's
like-
and that's
Whatever
why we
works.
say it,
Right,
you know,
right,
because
right.
people laugh, and then people say, "I don't know anybody that takes it," and I say, "Yes, you do." Because
Right.
as much as we sell, and as many other places that sell Viagra and
Yeah.
Cialis, there are very few people out there not taking Cialis or Viagra.
That's,
So-
it's unbelievable. Wow, that's crazy. That's
And
crazy.
people can also call you up to find the prices beforehand, or they can stop in one of your locations as well. I know your office in Port Charlotte is very welcoming. I've
Yes.
gone in there before.
Oh yes, and my girls have decided that they don't like our pictures, and so they're trying to make it even more homey. They're redecorating around me now. So
Aw, that's good.
That's cool. So you can actually sit down and like go through their medications they
Sure.
currently have.
Yep, and
And put together like a pricing model for them.
yeah, we do
Okay.
that a lot, especially around the open enrollment for Medicare. A lot of people are trying to choose new plans and trying to find the best plan. And sometimes we can just pull out one or two medications, and then they can go on a lot better plan.
Right. Right.
So we're happy to do your whole list of medications.
Gotcha. So that actually, so them being able to like go to you guys at the same time they're choosing a Medicare plan to help figure out which one's going to be best. I mean, because you're saying they could take two medications off,
Yeah.
go through you for those two medications,
Yep.
and then use the open enroll or use their insurance for the other stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's especially with like the more expensive ones like Eliquis, the heart medications, some of the inhalers. That's kicking people into the donut hole really quickly.
Right. Right.
And so if we just pull those out and still save them money on those medications,
Right.
then the rest of their medications won't fall into the donut hole.
I know. I remember when I learned about that donut hole. I'm like, that is the most confusing thing in the world. I'm like, who came up with this? You
I know, and
I've-
when we talk in general terms like that and we say donut hole, we forget that those
Like,
of us in the senior
yeah.
care industry
Yeah, a lot of
forget that
people-
people don't know what the donut hole
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
unless you've cared.
So that being said, so give us a little, if you understanding of what is
But
that?
yeah, not a munchkin, that donut that
Yes,
you get at the
yes.
store. That's
It-
what I would
it's-
think of if I didn't know.
It's the theory. That's why it's called the donut hole. So basically, Medicare pays for, and it varies every year, it's around $3,000 worth of medications with your copay. And then you go into a space where they don't pay for anything as far as medications. And then you come out on the other side and they pay for more.
Gotcha.
So the goal is to try and not fall into that donut hole where you have to pay for everything. So
Right.
something that even you could have just been paying maybe $20 or $30 for is all of a sudden going to cost you $200.
Right. So if you exceed
Okay.
that 3,000,
Yep.
now I'm in a period of time where I'm actually having to come out of pocket. So
Yes,
it's
for
almost like
everything.
Right. So it's almost like if I can stay underneath that, it's like you avoid the deductible, but once you hit that, all of a sudden now
Right.
you have to like come out of pocket on your own.
Yeah, and then if you get past that, I mean, but it's another $3,000 or $3,500 of that hole.
Right.
Then you get back into they're paying a bigger percentage again, but you got to spend $3,000.
And is there anything that covers the donut hole? Is there
Some
any?
of the Advantage plans will, and that's really something that when we get to the Medicare specialist,
Right.
that we
Right.
can
They can
So that's
discuss
definitely-
that
and that's where
further.
you guys get with them together and kind of work on.
Exactly. We actually have a Medicare specialist coming in. He's going to do some Medicare minutes at our office
Okay.
coming up. We have the first one July 24th at 11 a.m. at our office
Wonderful.
in Port Charlotte. So
Oh,
and
that's great. I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of people would be interested
So
in
how
that
how could someone
information.
get a hold of like how could someone RSVP for that?
they can just show up.
Okay. So
It's
at 11 o'clock on the 24th.
at our
Of
office.
July.
Of July. and our address is 2414 Tamiami Trail, Unit 1. And then we will have another one in July. They do a different topic every month for this Medicare Minute. It's a nonprofit organization that certifies these people to do this. And then if anybody has any questions, the specialist that's going to do them at our office will be there to answer any further questions that they might have.
Awesome.
And then once they order the medication through you, it comes in the mail.
Yep.
Okay.
Regular U.S. mail.
Trying
and
to
a
remember what you told me.
Regular U.S. mail, small brown package. So even if it's Viagra or Cialis, nobody knows what you're getting.
Gotcha.
Because we have a lot of guys ask us that.
Right.
Well, yeah,
are my
you can
neighbors going to know
understand
what's in
that.
this package? And
I'm
like,
sure
"No."
some people want to know,
Right,
like
right.
want other people to know and be like, hey, but it depends on who you are. It
Yeah.
could be some good advertisement for them, right?
Exactly, the single
And then
guys.
I
yeah.
can understand some people want it to be private.
Right,
Well, we
right.
keep saying we want to do a
I s-
singles party because we have a bunch of guys that have Cialis. So if there's a women's group out there that wants to help us put together single parties, we'll bring the guys.
Oh man, it's hard to.
Hi,
It's hard to even
holds
imagine
it back.
that.
It's clean. It's a PG rated. We're
Yeah.
good. it's all in good fun.
It's crazy to even think that world exists out there.
Oh, you have no idea.
There's a saying, we're
man.
alive, we're not dead. So
Right,
hello,
right,
keep
right.
it going. If you don't use
yeah.
it, you'll lose it. And that goes with a lot of things in life. Seriously, it's not just that.
Okay, maybe we better move to talking
All right,
about Chelsea
transition.
Place now.
Okay. So no, you know what?
Transition.
Yeah.
Though, do you want to? Though I would say also give out your phone number too.
Sure. Our phone number is 941-421-7155. That's our Port Charlotte office, or our Cape Coral office is 239-677-3559.
Awesome.
I just want to also say Suzanne is amazing for her outreach.
Just that.
All right, so we have a call.
All right.
Hi, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, the pharmaceutical companies went in court block they passed it, where they had to put their prices on the ads. Their thievery, you gotta make a profit. They don't have to price gouge. Their thievery is gonna make the first line best in this country. They're overgreed. I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is. The thievery. If they put the real prices on there, they don't want to do that because they don't just be honest with people.
Oh yeah, I mean it's crazy what they mark medications up. It's really kind of crazy, and that's why we do what we do, to help people not have to pay the crazy prices that we have here in the United States. The United States and New Zealand are the only two countries in the world that don't have price controls on their medication. So. Yeah, unfortunately, I think they have control of some of our representatives, and they get things done the way they want. It is.
Well, I guess you gotta go talk to Suzanne and save some money.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
All right, so this is a very hot topic. We've got another call. Hi, you're on the air.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, well, just give us a call. I know we can get Victoza. I don't know the price of that one right off the top of my head, but give us a call, 421-7155, or just stop in and see us once you get close to that point, and then we can definitely help you with that. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Bob. That was Bob.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's great. You were able to answer those questions
So,
for the people.
and that's exactly why we want to do the show. You know, I mean, like, because
Exactly.
whether because there's when we think about all the things that go into senior care, and I know when that's something that Amy and I have always been passionate about, and even coming together with you on this too, is just there's so many areas to explore that people have no idea. So it could be medication, it could be elder law advice, it could be financial planning, VA benefits, Medicaid planning, senior care. I mean, there's just so many options.
Well,
Like,
and you
it's-
don't realize how much they all intertwine.
Yeah, exactly.
Because-
They're all part of the same process.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many guys I've talked to that have come in just to get Viagra or Cialis or some other medication, and I look at them and I say, "Are you registered with the veterans?" And they're like, "No."
Right.
And they're
right,
veterans,
right,
and they're missing out on getting all of these benefits
right.
because they just haven't gone over there and signed up.
Right,
So,
and then you dive
Yeah.
deeper and you find out they're caring for their wife,
Exactly.
who actually is suffering from dementia and needs a little help, around the house. And like you just keep going
Yeah.
in this rabbit hole of depth where people have all these issues going on
Well,
and
or-
they don't know where to turn.
even in our case, because we do have some guys that are a little bit younger, that they're caring for a parent.
Right, exactly.
And-
Right.
Right.
And there
right.
you're in a position now where you can help people.
Yeah.
So like what you were talking about before, you weren't able to help the people directly.
Yep.
So it's like you're giving one service, but then you're offering so much more.
Exactly.
And that's another reason we like dealing with you. She's a very, very big heart.
And so
awesome.
let's finish up my story with I moved to Port Charlotte to
Okay.
work and met Amy and Chris through doing some networking down here. And Amy has, since I've met her, changed jobs. So why don't you tell us your
And
story?
who doesn't know Amy, right?
A lot of people don't know Amy.
I don't know
so
about that.
let's see. So I moved here actually July 14th. No, I'm sorry, July 4th, I'll go back, was 14 years since I
Wow.
moved here
Wow.
with my family. We relocated and we had just been visiting for so many years.
When
My
you-
mother and
Didn't you say you had to come down because of the witness protection program or something?
oh my
No?
goodness. We'll get to that later.
Some mob stories.
Okay,
I don't
that-
know.
You know,
Story
people
somewhere.
just don't understand. Yeah, it's just like if you really are involved in that, you don't talk about it. So they have all these shows on TV like
Yeah.
Mafia, this, seriously.
I-
We won't go there.
I always joke
okay?
because I'm like, if I have an issue, Amy, can I call? Can I
Oh,
call you up?
this is
You
the
got some-
northern.
You got some family that can help me out.
Oh
you
my
know?
goodness.
Guido?
You know what it is? We're from New Jersey and New York, okay? And we were raised and very family oriented and we're very loyal to each other. You know, and sometimes we might come across as a little harsh just from that northern attitude, but we're always looking out.
Yeah.
So some people might take that the wrong way, but we're really great-hearted people. And, you know, so I moved here with my family. And at the time, I mean, my children were still very young. My youngest was not even, what was he? Yeah, was about 3 years old. And it was so hard to look for a full-time job and, you know, worry about daycare.
Right.
So, you know, I just kind of got my feet wet, started a little side business. And once all my kids were in school full-time, you know, I just started going out there. And one day, I mean, I just kind of walked the street, so to speak, which doesn't sound good, but I walked into an assisted living facility and they were actually looking for help. It was just the right time, the right moment, place, however you want to look at it. And my
I'm playing
journey.
the Godfather.
You are really funny. So my journey
awesome.
started there.
That's awesome.
And I had worked with
That's
seniors
awesome.
and children up north. And my passion for helping people, I just took it to the next level. And I mean, it just started there. And I just was like, you know what? This area has the majority of people who live here are senior citizens. And so many people would come in and not know where to turn or what to do. So I stayed with them for quite a few years and then decided to just go in a different direction, to be politically correct, because assisted living is wonderful, but for some people, they want to stay home.
Yeah, actually, there's
You
an
know?
AARP study that says that 9 out of 10 people, like the preference is, I want to stay in my own home. You know,
Right.
so it's like I mean, so it's amazing how many people really, you know, that is their ultimate desire, which is why the transition to assisted living can be tough for people.
Yeah, and we have an assisted living
Yeah.
community, but
'Cause there's
the
needs there,
majority
but yeah.
wanted that. And I learned over the years, I was with this company for over 5 years, that people were coming in and families had nowhere to turn.
Right.
So I changed positions there before I left and I started doing marketing and outreach. And I just found more and more people had nowhere to turn. So I just started kind of being a referral source. There you go. And that's why we call it senior sauce. Because Amy's accent is mixture of Florida and New Jersey.
Right.
And sometimes that sauce,
So
source
comes
word
out
does
sauce.
not
just
come
comes out sauce, and when she says
And it
sauce,
comes
it
out
comes out
sauce.
source. You know, so
Yeah.
we don't know. So either sauce or source.
And okay, so my spouse's grandmother taught me how to make homemade sauce. It's an Italian family, and so when I say source, people think it's sauce, or vice versa.
Right. So
And I
every
remember
Sunday,
just
if you
good
text her,
stuff.
she's like in the middle of making like
We
spaghetti
have tradition.
meatballs. You know,
Yep.
It's like,
I make homemade sauce every Sunday, and Nanny Gloria, God rest her soul, taught me how to make sauce. And I just continued the tradition. And my kids are,
So
if we don't do it on Sunday,
if you ever want
they ask
Yeah,
them.
I want that recipe, Amy.
Yeah.
if you
Now
want
we
that,
know where we're
There's a
going for
lot of
Sunday
love in
dinner.
it.
That's right. That's right.
Love.
That's-
And
I
it's
know.
tradition.
I was-
And
I
my
was-
children are very much about tradition.
I was
That's how we
joking with them. I'm
raise
like,
them.
hey, can I come? I'm like, I'm coming over for dinner tonight. I'm like, yeah. I'm still waiting for my invite.
It's just when we think of it, I mean, I was blessed so many years. Like, we would go to her house actually on Thursdays for dinner or Sunday and rotate back and forth with my mother-in-law, who makes wonderful sauce, but hers is called gravy. So it all depends on what part of Italy you're from or not. But anyway, so it just reminds me of comfort. And what I did, just getting back on the subject, is I started becoming a referral source. There you go, it came out. And, joined a home care company so I can help people with options of staying home or referring to assisted living, because it's might be for one but not the other. And just got very involved in the community. And I just realized this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I don't think Amy's ever home. I don't. She says she makes
I
us
am
Sunday
home.
night must be the only night she's
No,
home.
I do.
That's
I
about-
make
Sunday's
family
about the-
comes first.
Sunday's
before
about the
anything.
only day, like, because I mean, we text all the time, right? Like, I mean, I'm surprised she hasn't cut
constantly
me off.
working.
No, so it's
Constantly.
like it's funny
But
because
it's
so
a good
Sundays
thing.
are the only days that like there's delays.
Because we are, and I don't even say working. What we're doing, I mean,
Just helping people.
I don't even look at
Yeah.
it as working. I love what I do, that I can help people and their families. And what started as walking in the door, I didn't even know this company was looking for help. And they happened to be looking for a receptionist. I went to activities, marketing, and it was all in like a 3-month span. And I've met so many great people along the way. And just, when you...
That's how I met Amy back in.
Yeah,
the
you
day.
were just opening the
I
assisted
was like
living.
12 back then,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was only 18. Yeah, okay, but I just, this community is so wonderful, and there's just so much out there and so much information, and I just kind of turned into a referral source.
Yeah, and I think that's what people don't realize, that when you go, and having cared for my dad, as you go through the process, you don't even realize what's out there
Right.
until you get to the point
Yes.
where you're so desperate
Right.
that you just have to find something. And that's what we're hoping to do here, is help people find the stuff before they get to that
Exactly.
point.
'Cause- and
Exactly,
And
that's-
that was the problem too. Is like when Amy and I like had first started working together a little bit too. Is we always felt like we're helping people. Like by the time they've come to the assisted living facility, we're like going back and helping them through some issues there, or maybe they've gotten to that crisis point. Now we're helping them like way down the road when they should have had help, 2-3 years prior to that.
Yeah.
Yes, but unfortunately they don't. And let me finish my story, because with the three of us, it's hard to get a word in edgewise, but we're very passionate about what we do. But just to make a long story short, if that's possible, is I joined Chelsea Place last year. I've known Chris for about 8 years, through business, highly supported everything you did.
Yeah.
And it was time for me to go in a different direction. And it was a given, right?
And
He was very persistent.
She joined the whirlwind.
Yeah, but he has the same passion
Yeah.
of helping people, especially the senior community, as I do. And no offense to my previous employers, because I learned so much and I've grown with them and I still support them in the community. But I just need to spread my wings a little further, and I'm able to do that.
Well, and from my perspective, watching Chris just in the few years that I've known him grow his business, and then seeing that he brought Amy on, I'm like, this kid's going places. And so I just, they offered me the opportunity to jump in with them. I'm like, yep, I'm getting in their boat.
You're so supportive.
No, I
Anything that
appreciate
we have doing in the community, I reach out to you, and she's just so approachable, and I highly respect what you're doing.
And I,
You know,
and I think
I
what's
do.
cool, what's cool is like in this industry, like in like my opinion, I feel like you don't get a lot of people that are passionate about like helping the senior population. And so it's like to be able to get a group of people together that like really care about helping, whether it's like finding an alternative medication source that's less expensive.
See, it sounds
you know?
like sauce.
or
it up.
or like just just helping people out, like with whatever it is, like, but being passionate about it, where it's not like I'm not just trying to sell my community. Like there's a much
Yes,
bigger picture
totally
here. It's
agree.
like I'm not just trying to sell them on this this long-term care insurance plan or this financial product. Like it's a much larger comprehensive picture.
Well, and I think if you look at the people that are in this room, it's even the little things, because
Right.
Chris and I were at an event and there was one lady that was carrying a bunch of stuff out, and he went over and picked up her stuff and carried it out for her.
Right.
I mean, he didn't have to do that, and a lot of other people that were there didn't do that, but he did that. He was just like, let me help you, because he saw that she needed help. So that goes to
Miss
the
Emily,
core.
she had my daughter's name too.
Aw.
Miss Emily. She was like what 94, 95?
95, I
Yeah,
think she is. Yep.
I mean, there's great people in this community, but I think also with using this word sauce is because there's love, caring that goes into it. It's not just a business with
Right.
all of
You
us.
care first, and then the business takes care of
And
itself.
exactly.
Exactly.
And
I can
that's to
tell you,
pinpoint it.
knowing the three of you as I do, you have one of the most important ingredients when it comes to caring for the elderly. Be it medication or everyday care, you have the caring, and that's the most important ingredient.
And it's even like when we hire like our like staff, it's like for us it's always about the heart. Like I would say we hire for the heart. Is their
Right.
heart in it for the right reasons? And if that's true, then everything else is easy to work on. But if they don't have like a heart for what they do, if they're not passionate about caring for people, then you can't ever teach that. That's not something you can train someone to have heart for.
And
something.
it shows.
Yeah.
It shows in the day-to-day
Yeah.
work
How
they
many
do.
times have people gone to a hospital or a doctor's office, and the person taking care of them, be it a nurse, a CNA, an LPN, whatever, just seems to be there for their job, like get you done and move on.
Right, right.
That's I've run into that myself.
Well, and that's what I
unfortunately,
hate too,
it
because
happens.
in other I feel fortunate that in our industry we still have control over taking care of people. Like meaning like we're not being dictated as to what to do by the insurance company. So I feel grateful for the fact that like we have control over how we take care of like seniors. And it's up to us, because the insurance company is not dictating, oh, you got X number of minutes or you can only do this. Like, we're able to do what is right for the people,
Yeah, and unfortunately in doctors' offices, and that
Yeah.
going back to kind of what the guy
Yeah.
said, the caller said earlier, that they're so controlled by the insurance companies and how much time they have and how many patients they have to see,
Right,
and
right.
it's crazy.
Right. So now I go into a doctor's office and I got to wait for 2 hours, and then I get seen for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and it's like, this is stupid. Like, it
The
really is
majority are
frustrating,
like that.
Yeah.
But there are some that are not. That
Yeah.
you go in and you know what? You find that they're giving you the time you
Right.
deserve.
Yep.
And their bedside manner is amazing. So there is so many people out there, but I
It's-
also
and I-
understand what you're saying
and I think
about
a lot
the
of times, too, it's
insurance.
those- it's those-
I'm always looking at the
No,
bright
no,
side.
no, but
sorry.
it's good. No, it's good because I found that like on the
I
newer
believe in
doctors
people.
that don't have they haven't been the insurance company hasn't spoiled
down.
their exactly because that's the hard part. It's like is
Well, and there is some trend into concierge doctors, which
Yeah.
kind of get away from the insurance side of things, and you pay them a fee. But then they're basically at your beck and call, kind of like an
Right.
old time doctor. And that's
And they have them here. We
yeah.
have one.
Yeah.
We have one at the assisted living
And
who does
that's-
house calls.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is
you know?
beautiful because like it helps us make sure so if we have an issue with one of our residents, some health concern, we're able to reach out to him directly and get medications, get answers. It's nice having that
Immediately.
lifeline.
Yeah, and
where-
they take their time and
Right,
they,
right. Exactly, because he comes into our facility, he visits with them each person one-on-one, and he's actually seeing them on a monthly basis, but they have that time together. It's not and they're at their home environment. They're not having to go wait in a doctor's office for 2 hours.
Well,
you know?
even I have a concierge doctor that I go to, and literally I had a sinus infection. I called her when she opened at 8:30, and before 9 o'clock I was sitting in her office.
That's amazing.
Because she doesn't
That's
have
good to hear.
20
Right.
appointments. So
Yeah.
there are those good doctors out there,
Exactly.
and
It's just-
obviously we can
and
help you
it's-
find
and
one
exactly.
if you need it.
That's right.
That's right. And that's the thing is it's trying to find like more like-minded people that are passionate about helping people,
Yep.
and then really with that you can create a large enough movement where you start now we have a large referral base of people to refer to that really care. So it's like we know that we send someone to Suzanne's office, we know they're going to be taken care of,
And that's
So,
what we ask.
yeah.
We give a lot of referrals out constantly, and it's not like we're looking for anything in return. We just want you to take care of these people.
That's right.
And that's why we're going to refer to you.
Right, exactly.
And even though we have all these different services, we work with the community.
Right.
Very much so.
Yeah, so
So we got to talk a little bit about you.
Yeah, we
This
gotta
guy
get
over
we
here.
gotta get his story before.
Oh man, no one wants to hear that story.
We
you
said
know?
we can sit here for
I don't know.
hours between the three of us. It's so
I was
hard
gonna
to sit
say, I
here and
don't
be
know.
quiet.
Chris is probably going to get his own groupies being on Facebook Live.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
has a very large social media following, but it works.
We're trying.
It's
We're trying.
education.
Well, I think
We should. Well, you'll probably tell us about your wife, so we don't have to clarify for the
Yeah.
ladies out there that he's married.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
yes.
go ahead, tell your story. She's
and got
amazing.
2 kids now too, man. So we got all sorts of fun stuff going on. A 2-month-old at home, and so it's been good. But yeah, I mean, my wife is Chelsea, and that's how we got the name Chelsea Place. So we were actually engaged
Really?
at the time.
No.
Amy's heard that story like 100 times.
No.
But
it fits.
But
very
we were
appropriately.
engaged at the time, and I was like, and this girl, I mean, she was a keeper, so I was like, how do I seal the deal before we get married, So I was like, all right, I'll put her name on the door. Now she can't run away from me,
There
So,
you
no, I'm just
go.
kidding. But no, so honestly, went to school at UF for my finance degree. Got out of that, went to work for Allstate. Absolutely hated it. It was just not. I hated the insurance world. Hated cold calling people, and then
Nothing against Allstate.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not against all states. Just that business was not your forte.
Right. Well, and it was just like one of those things. It probably goes back to like when you cold call someone and you're trying to sell them on something, and then they end up. Saying, well, you raised my rates last year, and I'm like, I didn't raise them. I wasn't even here last year, it wasn't me, because I'm like, I want to help this guy, but the problem is I don't control the rates. I'm just the messenger,
Yeah.
And so I felt like, and I think that was always my struggle. Was like I always felt like I wanted to help someone, but I felt sometimes like restricted in different environments.
Yeah, same
it's
thing
like
with
He just
Suzanne.
found his passion
Yeah.
earlier than I did.
and I feel grateful for that because I remember even the internship programs through college and even that period of time after college, I felt so lost. I felt like, what am I doing with my life? And so to really finally find that passion, at this age, I really feel I'm grateful for that because I love every day getting up and helping people. I love being able to navigate families through this complex world of senior care, and we learned that because when I decided I'm done with insurance and we ended up moving back to Florida from Texas where I went for about 3 months. In 2 days I decided I'm done. But then we moved back to Florida and we decided to open up an assisted living facility. Well, we moved into it. And for the first 3.5 years that we were here in Port Charlotte, we actually lived in the same facility that all of our residents lived in. And through that process, I was able to kind of start to understand what families are going through. And so those families that are caring for a loved one, and then also the ones that were coming in that are just getting involved with their loved one and trying to figure out where to go and what to do. So it was
Had hands-on
I
experience.
was gonna say I think it would be great to be able to live in an assisted living. Of course, you were doing the work too. So
Yeah, well,
that-
Yeah,
No, it
you're
was-
probably the youngest ones in history to live in
I know,
assisted
because
living.
we were literally 21 and 23.
But
man.
you
We-
got the hands-on direct.
Yeah, I'll never forget.
You lived it.
Because I felt like I was a kid, right? So I'm coming into Port Charlotte, no one knows me, and I really felt like a child, trying to open this assisted living facility. So to combat that, I put a tie on every day and the suit jacket. I was trying to look a little bit more professional, look a little older, but in the morning I would still have to get when we had our first resident, Sarah, I would still have to get her up for the day. And so I would get her up for the day, and there was, I'll never forget one time where I went to go give her a shower, and so I was helping her get ready. I got her in the shower, and I'm in my suit jacket ready to go. I'm gonna help her with the shower, get her breakfast, and then
first class service there.
and then one of our caregivers was gonna come in around 8, and then she was gonna leave me, and I was gonna go out and market. And so in that time, I was like, hey, Sarah, hey, can you hold this for me? And she grabbed the shower head, and she accidentally like turned it right at me, and she's like, whoop! And she's like, oh, sorry, darling.
Yeah, sure, it was by accident.
Yeah, I know, right? I know,
She's probably
and
gonna do
knowing
the
her,
business.
because she was always such a prankster. Knowing her, she did it on purpose,
Aw.
But I'm like soaked like head to toe, like my shoes are like all squishy, now like my dress shoes and stuff. But like, those are just like some of those memories that you just will never forget. And it was a really cool experience to be able to be a part of that and to really understand what it takes to care for people. Not just from like a supervisory standpoint, but like literally doing all the, everything. I mean, there's nothing like when I hear stories today, like I think about all the stories I've been through, and there's really I have not heard a story yet that I haven't experienced it myself, and so I think that a lot of times, it's helpful because I understand a lot about what people are going through, whether it's a family or even our team, so. But yeah.
I don't think you guys have given out your contact information.
Well, we do have the assisted living.
Yeah, I guess the journey and just kind of maybe round out how we got to where we're at today is we have our assisted living facility, which we had started, and it's a small bed and breakfast style assisted living facility. We have 12 residents there and a wonderful team that helps take care of our folks, and so it really feels like a real like home-like environment. And then as we started to expand and grow our services, we actually opened up a senior daycare center, which has proven to be really transformational for people. So anyone that's caring for a loved one, and if whether they're using home care or whether,
which we have home care too now. We have private duty home care. Come on, I'm listening.
I know. So we
making sure he stays on his toes.
I know. She's always.
I have to like. Come on.
Someone's got to keep me on my toes.
I've only got like 8 more minutes.
Okay, all right. We did the daycare center. We opened that up for folks during the daytime, and then now we have private duty home care. So our goal, and when we look at the future of our company, and then also what we're doing today is, we are helping two kinds of families. We're helping families that are trying to keep their loved one at home, and we're helping those that are trying to make that transition to assisted living or senior housing. So, when we look at it, we look at it as like home care and daycare as like a holistic solution to caring for people in their home. And so, if they need help during the day, and we can save them money at really half the cost of home care during the daytime hours, plus they're getting socialization and meals and live music and all this stuff, but then we're also there for them in the evening or overnight or in the morning, or like we had a scenario where a gentleman was with us during the daytime at our center, and then he went into a rehab center and then back home for a little bit, and the family needed some help in the home before he can transition back to our daycare center. And so we were able to help like the family through that process and just keep it like a seamless transition, where we already had a good understanding of that individual and what their needs were, and then we were able to work with our team together and help make it work for the family. So I mean that's become our passion, is really just helping those folks out. And then when the need arises where they need assisted living, now we're able to help them in that environment, in that world as well. And so it really just kind of creates a nice holistic approach to their care.
And we don't, I mean, it's so hard to sit here and not talk, but you have to let him have his time. So we also, with our referrals line, we offer help to people. And it's not about if we can't help them, or they don't have to be a Chelsea Place member, client.
No,
anybody can call us and we'll help
that's
them
where
out.
we created Florida's 5-step guide to senior care, and we walk families, and we are trying to make it where we're walking families through this process like 2 years before they ever need any of our services. So it's like, we're really, we're trying to help them out. Like, hey, have you done, step one, being proactive. Do you notice that mom or dad or my spouse is having some issue? Are they, you're like, hey, honey, can you grab the bowl for me? And they bring back a plate or a fork, and you're like, and they do this regularly, and it's kind of throwing you off. Like, what's going on with my spouse, or what's going on with mom or dad? Being proactive. Like, let's see what's going on. Are they suffering from Parkinson's? Is there dementia going on? Is there an Alzheimer's, starting to develop? Like, so, understanding the cognitive decline and what's happening in their life, and how do you deal with that? And are you in a support group? Are you plugged in? And then step 2, organizing legal affairs. Have you taken the time to put together? Do you have a will and a trust? Do you have a power of attorney? Do you have those documents together? Have you met with your funeral arrangements? So we like to help people with that, and then making a financial plan. Because do I know what like? Maybe I'm a spouse and I've never looked at the finances. My husband's always taking care of that, but now he's starting to suffer from dementia.
Right.
And what do I do? What do I do for that person?
And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I do an Alzheimer's support group, and the woman does not know what to do because her husband has been taking care of it all the
or
years.
the opposite. One
Vice
of my
versa, of
employees
course.
just said to her husband recently, she's like, you have to start learning about the banking
Right.
account, because if
it's
something
starting.
happens to me, you
Right,
don't,
exactly.
you've never done it. And they've kind of now worked through some of that
that's
themselves.
great. Yeah.
And so it's
Well, they
it's like
can.
I need to put my spouse in charge first, and then I need to have a backup, like another family member, someone I can trust, because if something happens to my spouse, like who's gonna then help me,
Right.
And so
then
trying to
the
put that stuff
elders.
in place in advance, And so now if I got my legal affairs, I got people that can actually help make decisions on my behalf. I got my plan, my financial plan in place. I know what I know if I have long-term care insurance. I know what my spouse has got, what they've put together, or my parents, and then now I know what kind of care I can afford, and now I discover and I learn about the options that I have available to me. So if something happens, now I know where to turn and who to reach out to. So and then the last thing is our step 5, which is choosing the right providers, that's where it comes down to us helping families through that process. Where do you turn? Who do you talk to? And so we want to be a first point of contact where come talk to us. Tell us about what's going on in your world, and let us point you in the right direction. Let's introduce you to Discount Med Direct.
Well, and like you said, even going back to the care and that, going to the veterans and getting signed up
Right.
now,
Yeah,
so
right.
that they can watch your
Yeah.
progress through a disease or
Right.
something.
So it's like, where do you go?
Yeah.
Go talk to Ivy at the Veterans Affairs office here in town.
Yeah, and a free service. There's just so much out there people don't know. And Chris is trying to explain to be proactive, but there's people who are already in these situations, and we can help them as
Right.
well.
Yeah, and we see people that have never started anything. We see people that
Yeah,
have done like
absolutely.
a few of every little thing, but they haven't like taken a holistic look at everything.
Perfect example is Chris and I were talking the other day when we were talking about the show, and I said, my family has been pretty good about what do you want to have happen when you die. So we kind of know what everybody wants to have happen. Well, my dad, we knew he wanted to be cremated, but we never asked him what he wanted us to do with his ashes afterwards. So we got him to the funeral home after he passed away, and they arranged all that. And then they said, what do you want us to do with his ashes? And my mom and I looked at each other and went, we have no idea.
No.
Right,
So
right.
we had to go through a process then of figuring out exactly what we were going to do with his ashes. And I was surprised how many people told me when I was telling that story to them after my dad passed
They have
that
no idea.
they have ashes in the box, that the cardboard box and plastic bag that the funeral home gives them in their closet somewhere of somebody that they
And there's
of a
so
loved
many
one.
options
Right.
out there, like our
Yeah.
local funeral homes and cremation.
So there's
They have so much to choose from,
Yeah.
and we
Right.
won't get into that right
But it's like-
now.
but it's
because
like-
why we said we're going to have
But
somebody
who
that'll help us.
knows
Yeah,
unless you do it.
yeah.
right?
Until you get to that process,
Right.
So
and
we make it a point to try to find out for
Yeah.
them, and if we don't know the answer, we're going to find it out for
And
them.
like I said, we had thought about it and we've talked about it, but we didn't talk it all the way through.
Exactly.
So there's
Yeah.
little things like that even
Well, you
going
don't-
into a
yeah.
pre-planner and just sitting down with them,
Sure.
those questions they'll ask you and
Right,
you'll know.
exactly, and which is so important, because I can't tell you how many times people will walk into our assisted living facility and they haven't done any funeral arrangements. So like that's part of our process now is helping them understand that it's important to make those decisions now, because even for us too, if something were to happen in a facility setting like us and they don't have arrangements, now it's a really painful process, because there's so much stuff happening right now. We just lost a loved one. Now we're having to go and make all these decisions at that point in time. It's just not.
Yeah,
it's not the right process to take. And if we can help people in advance,
for
then
it.
we can hedge
Absolutely.
against that frustration and those times that are difficult like that. So. But so I know if you have any.
You can't change the world, but you can at least
Hey,
help
we're gonna
it.
make
I'm this
we're
listener.
gonna exactly we're gonna make a difference.
I don't know. I think Chris is working on changing the world. we're just here helping him.
No, it's
Yeah.
All right. I still don't think you guys ever gave out your contact information
Okay.
though.
Oh yeah, so go ahead.
We'll give
I'm gonna let
okay,
I'm gonna
so
let
we
Annie
have
do
a
that.
few things here. We're just going to give out our main line. And the reason, because I know this is being taped visually here right now, so I do have to use my cheat sheet because there's so many phone numbers. I do know my cell. So if you call 941-676-3411, it will give you a prompt for each of our departments. Careers, actually, home care, daycare, the assisted living, our information line. Again, it's 941-676-3411. Please visit our website. It was just recently redone and is very informational. And it's www.chelseaplacecare.com. And we also have a direct line to our senior care expert line, which is 941-677-7233. And there's always somebody who will be able to help you.
And
Or-
more,
or
and more
find
likely to
them
be
at
Amy.
Facebook.
And more likely it'll be Amy, but it's all good. That's what I'm here for.
Or find them on Facebook because
Yes.
they're always posting all kinds of stuff on
Yeah.
Facebook.
And-
Yeah, lots of videos.
And one of the things we're doing, and part of this show too, is education. We feel like the more people we can educate, the better informed decisions they can make and make the right decisions for themselves. So we also have a YouTube channel called Senior Source TV. So for those that maybe search on Google for information,
Yeah.
we have videos on different topics from veterans benefits to and what's interesting is our veterans benefit. I did a 5-minute educational presentation on just the VA benefits for aid and attendance, and literally within the last month it's gotten 177 views, and then our channel as a whole has gotten a little over 1,700 minutes worth of watch time in the last 2 months.
Now we're good to get into the millions because.
And you know what? We're going to have another one at our community, at the center.
Yeah.
And we'll have information for that next
So
time with the date.
We're just trying to educate people as much as possible. That's the purpose for the show. That's the purpose. Really, I feel like that's my purpose in life.
Education.
Is just educating people and helping them make informed decisions in senior care.
And we're all here to help.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we still got time left or what? Yeah.
We have great Zane. Kudos to Zane.
I know he's got to put up with us
show.
over here.
Just about a minute.
All right.
Well, why don't you say your date again for what you
Our
have going
Medicare
on?
Minute is July 24th at 11 a.m. at our location in Port Charlotte, 2414 Tamiami Trail, Unit 1. If you want more information, you can give us a call at 941-421-7155.
Oh, and we also, I'll just state too, on July 30th at our center, which is 3626 Tamiami Trail in Port Charlotte, we're going to be having a trivia night, and it's a $10 donation. We're donating all proceeds to the United Way of Charlotte County. There'll be free complimentary food, non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages, and a great trivia night with prizes, and it's open to the public. And you can call me directly on my cell phone for that RSVP, please, which is 941-787-0687. See, I do remember my cell phone.
And those trivia nights are a lot of fun.
Yes,
I've been to
you're
a
one of
couple.
our sponsors, and we do them quarterly.
Yep, and they're a lot of fun.
Okay.
And thank you, Chelsea Place and Discount Med Direct, for
Yes.
making this possible. So
Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
thanks, guys. Oh, that's cool.
We did it.
Awesome.
Awesome.
That was good.